Chicago style! It's not even pizza!
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and we're here to talk to you about The Ghost and Molly McGee. Just for efficiency's sake, whenever I say the show's name, I'm gonna shorten it to Molly McGee. Just saying The Ghost sounds too weird. I guess I always start with the plot, so let me talk about the show itself. If you didn't watch my first video, Molly McGee is a show about Molly McGee. In the pilot, Molly moves with her family to the town of Brighton. She is somebody who sees the positive in everything, and for lack of a better term, she's SpongeBob if he lived in the modern age.
We're gonna make music videos together, become internet famous, and then we're gonna tell ghost stories all night, and you're gonna be so good at it, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm so scared! And we're gonna volunteer to wash old people.
Yeah, like We Bare Bears, this show has a lot of pop culture references. I don't think they'll date this show, but they're a nice little bonus. However, Molly's house turns out to be haunted by a ghost named Scratch. Yeah, I still don't like the name, and I don't get why he's called that. In the show, the ghosts are literal dead people. We see it happen on screen.
Oh wait, no! That man's deceased! Hey, get back in that body!
So, question. In life, was Scratch his nickname, or did he take it when he got to the afterlife? Is it his middle name? Is his real name Lawrence? I anticipate we will probably get the reveal at some point. Maybe his real name's boring, like Benjamin Barker. Scratch wants nothing to do with Molly, so to expedite things, he curses her.
I curse you, Molly McGee! Wherever you go, whatever you do, for the rest of your days, I'll be there, haunting you!
But because he worded it wrong, it means he's now bound to her until she moves out.
If you won't leave, your friend must scare the humans so badly, they leave the house forever.
And then the curse is broken, okay?
I'm willing to bet if this wasn't Disney, her death would be another loophole. This odd couple pairing had a big chance to fail. Since we know from Squidward and SpongeBob, it's very hit or miss. I didn't mind it, but in the pilot, Molly could be really overbearing.
Did you just make me fly? This attic has everything, and it comes with a bonus you! I'm never, ever, 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 ever leaving!
Fine.
Thankfully, they ironed out this kink. I still like Molly, and I think the crew will be smart about it, so I don't see her getting flanderized. I also hope Scratch develops as time goes on. He's a big grump, but he cares a lot about Molly, to the point of getting vulnerable in one episode.
I just wanted you to think I'm important because you're important to me.
That's the nicest thing you've ever done, Scratch!
I'm sure you want to know my opinion of things at present. Well, so far so good. It does follow a lot of typical modern Disney cliches. I don't think it can top something like the Owl House, but it's still super early, so I don't want to kill it in the crib. The show, if I had to describe it, gives me vibes from Billy and Mandy, Beetlejuice, Casper, and Star Versus, all covered in a bunch of pink glitter. It's good for older viewers, but if you're a younger person, they'll definitely enjoy it. It's mostly episodic, but there is the inkling we could get a bigger story. Each episode has something special to it. A lot of it's nothing new, but they aren't too bad. It's probably the first time I've ever seen a Thai wedding on TV.
Speed it up, Mom!
Moving on super quickly to the song Ratnam.
And again, the only episode I hated is Hooray for Mollywood. It's cool they got Greta Gerwig of all people to guest star.
Molly, I'd like you to meet family friend, visionary director, Greta Gerwig.
Hi, I'm Greta Gerwig.
However, even she couldn't help. Before I even watched the show, I knew Scratch was gonna somehow change Molly. Maybe not in a Heisenberg way, but I could see her becoming more street smarter, getting tougher skin.
It's technically wrong to cheat, but to help Libby and the lemmings, wrong feels kind of right.
I thought this would be something that happens in season 2, but they sort of implied in episode 5, only it doesn't work. See, Molly wants to make her own movie, but it gets hijacked by a school bully who makes a ton of changes and ruins the product overall. You know, like how Disney does to most of their cartoons. It's one of those episodes where the main character gets put through torment, so that when the hate sink gets their comeuppance, it feels justified. Only the execution needed a lot of improvement. Realizing she let her friends down, Molly gets Scratch to scare the living daylights out of Andrea.
In fact, I think it's time to show Andrea just how scary ghosts can be.
Yeah, I know Andrea's a bully, and every single Mean Girl cliche wrapped up into one, but Molly up to this point still thinks you can make everything better with a hug and a cupcake. If most she had one revelation that's not how life is, the way it happens, she pretty much does it because that's what the plot told her to do. It'd be like if SpongeBob commanded a bunch of clams to attack Squidward, knowing what he's doing, and not doing it in a way where he thinks he's making Squidward's day way better. I'd rather it be Scratch does it and Molly looks the other way. In terms of character development, I do like how Molly is more openly sad. It's pretty subtle. Except for her brother, who is your cliche bratty little sibling, I loved Molly's family. In most shows, Molly would have to keep Scratch a secret, but she introduces Scratch to the McGees. They were obviously freaked out at first, but then they warm up to him.
And I think the preferred term is post-living person. Welcome to our home. I mean, your home, which is technically our home.
It's a nice touch. I don't think most shows have done such a thing. Her parents are pretty loving, and her mom, well...
I worked in my parents' restaurant growing up, and that was enough kitchen work for a lifetime. Never say go cook again!
I can't go on without talking about Molly's grandma. She doesn't appear in every episode, but I love how much she takes in stride.
We are not friends, Grandma Nin.
I'm not scared, Molly. In Thailand, many houses have ghosts.
Watching the first 5 episodes, I got a bad vibe. It felt like Disenchantment, where at the worst of times, it feels like they're holding themselves back. Like, you know there's a lot they could do or likely want to do, but either it's too early or that's not the path they want to go. They don't have to be story-driven, but like the first season of Star Versus, you know we could get answers to some really important questions, but we're stuck with Star learning how to ride a bike. One topic I wanted to discuss was the Ghost Council. In my first video, I questioned why Scratch is haunting Molly's house in particular. Maybe he was banished there as a loner, maybe it's where he died, maybe he tried to con Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. Turns out there's a reason. In Molly McGee, the afterlife is run by the Ghost Council, and their chairman. Literally, his name is Chairman.
That is precisely what the chairman expects.
Yeah, I'm sensing a kibosh, XP. You know how in Casper, it's a plot point that Ghosts have to scare or face punishment? In their Christmas special, Casper's told he has to scare somebody by Christmas, or he and his uncles get sent to oblivion. Well, it's implied the same thing is happening here. Ghosts get sent to various locations throughout the globe on assignments, often to scare as many people as possible. If a ghost doesn't meet a certain quota of misery, they get sent to the flow of failed phantoms.
Please! I can do better!
Yeah, I said the show could be Beetlejuice's spiritual successor, but I definitely see more Casper. Because Scratch goes above and beyond, he usually tends to avoid his fate. The pilot implies because he's grown fond of Molly's family, his misery quota has sagged just a teeny tiny bit, and could continue to go down. Which would doom not only him, but possibly Molly, her family, and his friend Jeff. Now this could be interesting, and it feels like they want to go somewhere. But besides one moment, the council never really appear again or have any impact. In one episode, he pseudo-possesses Molly to help win a softball game, but then he gets summoned. He's told to scare one more person by the end of the day.
Which means you are one scare short for the month, Scratch.
Scare someone.
But wait, don't they hate Scratch? In the first episode, they banished a ghost for what essentially wasn't her fault. Why does he get a second chance? In the grand scheme of things, all it really does is act as a plot device, so they can have a quicker way of raising the stakes. But you could have had any number of reasons besides the Ghost Council. Maybe Molly wants to play fair, or Scratch has to take a break, so Jeff goes on. And despite the emphasis put on it, the scaring thing happens off screen.
Hey, that reminds me. I'll be right back. So, is that Tammy with a Y or an I?
This should have been its own episode. Maybe Scratch has to scare somebody, or the council says he has to scare Molly and her family, or be banished. I do think they'll likely do something similar, or Molly's family has to move. The latter would probably end the series. Definitely too early to call, but if they do something where they move away for the last episode, I feel either Scratch will join Molly, or he befriends the next family to move in. Watching the Ghost Council, it reminded me of The Good Place, where eventually somebody will realize how screwed up the afterlife is, and they try to improve it. Or at the very least, Scratch gets permission to no longer have to scare. The scaring idea also does interest me. In Casper or Beetlejuice, we're always told they have to scare, but we're never told why they need to scare. Why is the Ghost Council in power? Why do they want to spread so much misery? Even then, there's still a lot to enjoy. Something I think lacking in cartoons is songs. Ever since Steven Universe ended, we haven't gotten a cartoon that includes songs. I think that's because we reached the point in time where most shows have hit Cerebus syndrome. We can't have Lou singing while fighting Emperor Bellows. That would be super weird. Molly McGee has songs, and better yet, they don't happen when the writers feel like it, or they have to hit a runtime. It happens once an episode. And honestly, they're pretty pretty catchy. When I wrote the script, I was listening to a couple songs. My favorite so far is likely either the baseball song or the one with Abe Lincoln, who, get this, is voiced by Kelsey Grammer. You know him, he's played
Frasier on Cheers.
Or Frasier on Frasier.
Or Lieutenant Commander Tom Dodge in Down Periscope.
That dude really is in everything.
I never encourage deceit and falsehood, young man.
Another plus to the show is it features a lot of A-list guest stars. I guess it's pretty typical for Disney cartoons, but I don't care. I already talked about Kelsey Grammer and Greta Gerwig, but there's tons of big names attached. The voice of Haru, Amethyst, Potato Girl, Queen Moon, King Zog, Hollyhock, RC?
This is for Cliff Jumper!
And there's still so many more we're supposed to get. I'm most looking forward to either Jessica Keenan Ween or Darcy Carden. In conclusion, if you like Disney cartoons or looking for another cartoon now that your favorites have bought the farm, definitely check out the show. Right now, it might not be that special, but I think it will grow into something very soon.